welcome students to Galgodia's University e-content platform. I'm Kumari Pallavi, Assistant Professor of Mass Communication Department, and today I'm going to discuss a topic from the course that is Development Communication for Bachelors in Journalism and Mass Communication program. In today's presentation, I'm discussing about the myths and misconceptions related to development communication. In this lecture, I will present 10 points which address some of the myths and misconceptions about communication, especially when related to the field of development. These misconceptions can often be the cause of misunderstandings and lead to inconsistent and ineffective use of communication concepts and practices. The first two points on this list are about communication in general, while the others refers to development communication in particular. So the first one is the use of singular and plural form of communication. What do you think? The communications and communications are the same or not? I think the according to the development communication, communications and communication are not the same thing. The plural form refers mainly to activities and products, including information technologies, media products, and services like internet, satellite, broadcast, and so forth. The singular form, on the other hand, usually refers to the process of communication, emphasizing its dialogical and analytical functions rather than its informative nature and media products. This this distinction is significant at the theoretical, methodological, and operational level. The next point is everyday versus professional communication. What do we need? Everyday communication. What is the difference between the everyday communication and the professional communication? So there is a stark difference between everyday communication and professional communication. Such as a statement might seem obvious, but the two are frequently equated either overtly or more subtly, or as in he or she communicates well, hence he or she is a good communicator. A person who communicates well is not necessarily a person who can make effective and professional use of communication. Each human being is a born communicator, but not everyone can communicate strategically using the knowledge of principle and experience in practical applications. A professional like a development communication professional specialist understands relevant theories and practices and is capable of designing effective strategies that draw from the full range of communication approaches and methods to achieve intended objective. The next one is development versus other communication. There is a significant difference between development communication and other types of communication, both theoretically and practically. There are many different types of applications in the communication family. In this publication, we refer to four main types of communication, which are represented significantly in the work of the World Bank, that is advocacy communication, corporate communication, internal communication, and development communication. Each has a different scope and requires specific knowledge and skills to be performed effectively. And expertise in one area of communication is not sufficient to ensure results if applied in another area. So there are different kinds of development communication which are utilized in the development process. Communicating versus engaging. The main scope and function of development communication are not exclusively about communicating information and messages, but they also involve engaging stakeholders and assessing the situation. Communication is not only about selling ideas. Such a conception could have been appropriate in the past when communication was identified with mass media and the linear center message channel receiver model, whose purpose was to inform audiences and persuade them to change. Not surprisingly, the first systematic research on the effects of communication was carried out soon after World War II, when communication activities were mostly associated with a controversial concept, that is propaganda. Currently, the scope of development communication has broadened to include an analytical aspect as well as a dialogical one, intended to open public spaces where perceptions, opinions, and knowledge of relevant stakeholders can be aired and assessed. The next is the need of research. In development, communication initiatives can never be successful unless proper communication research is conducted before deciding on the strategy. A communication professional should not design a communication campaign or strategy without having all the relevant data to inform his or her decision. If further research is needed to obtain relevant data, to identify gaps, or to validate the project assumptions, the communication specialist must not hesitate to make such a request to the project manager. Even a communication specialist is called in the middle of a project whose objectives appear straightforward and clearly defined. Specific communication research should be carried out. If there are gaps in the available data and assumptions based on the experts, knowledge should always be triangulated with other sources to ensure their overall validity. Given its interdisciplinary and cross-cutting nature, communication research should ideally be carried out at the inception of any development initiative, regardless of the sector, or if a communication component would be needed at a larger stage. The next is the basic principle versus the interdisciplines. To be effective in their work, development communication specialists need to have a specific and in-depth knowledge of the theory and practical applications of the discipline. In addition to being familiar with the relevant literature about the various communication theories, models, and applications, development communication specialists should also be educated in the basic principles and practices of other interrelated disciplines such as anthropology, marketing, sociology, ethnography, psychology, education, and social research. In the current development framework, it is particularly important that a specialist be acquainted with participatory research methods and techniques, monitoring and evaluation tools, and basic principles of research strategy design. Additionally, a good professional should also have the right attitude toward people, being empathetic and willing to listen and to facilitate dialogue in order to elicit and incorporate stakeholders' perceptions and opinions. Most of all, a professional development communication specialist need to be consistently issue focused rather than institution focused. The next is development support communication versus project. Development communication support can only be as effective as the project itself. Even the most well designed communication strategy will fail if the overall objective of the project are not properly predetermined, if they do not enjoy a broad consensus from stakeholders, or if the activities are not implemented in a satisfactory manner. Sometimes communication experts are called in and asked to provide solutions to problems that were not clearly investigated and defined, or to support objectives that are disconnected from the political and social reality in the ground. In such cases, the ideal solution is to carry out field research or a communication based assessment to probe key issues, constraints, and feasible options. Tight deadlines and budget limitations, however, often induce managers to put pressure on communication experts to produce quick fixes, trying to force them to act as short-term damage control public relations or spin doctors. In such cases, the basic foundations of development communications are neglected and the results are usually disappointing, especially over the long term. The next is behavior versus broader change. Development communication is not exclusively about behavior change. The areas of intervention and the application of development communication extend beyond the traditional notion of behavior change to include, among other things, probing economic and political factors, identifying priorities, assessing risks and opportunities, empowering people, strengthening institutes, and promoting social change within complex cultural and political environment. That development communication is often associated with behavior change could be ascribed to a number of factors such as its application in health programs or its use in mass media to persuade audiences to adopt certain practices. These kinds of interventions are among the most visible, relying heavily on communication campaign on to change people's behaviors and to eliminate or reduce often fatal risks. The reality of development, though, is complex and often requires broader changes than specific individual behaviors. The next is media versus other approaches. The media and information technologies are not the backbone of development communication. As a matter of fact, the blue value added of development communication occurs before media and information technologies are even considered. Of course, media and information technologies are part of development communication and they are important and useful means to support development. Their application, however, comes at a larger stage and their impact is greatly affected by the communication work done in the research phase. Project managers should be wary of one-size-fits-all solution that appears to solve all problems by using media products. Past experiences indicates that unless such instruments are used in connection with other approaches and based on proper research, they seldom deliver the intended results. Next is participatory versus participatory communication. Participatory approach and the participatory communication approaches are not the same thing and should not be used interchangeably, but they can be used together as their functions are often complementary, especially during the research phase. Even if there are some similarities between the two types of approaches, most renowned participatory approaches such as participatory rural appraisal or participatory action research do not usually assess the range and level of people's perceptions and attitudes on key issues, identify communication entry points, and map out the information and communication systems that can be used later to design and implement the communication strategy. Instead, these are all key activities carried out in a participatory communication assessment. So that's all for this session. Today in this lecture, I have discussed the myths and misconceptions related to the arena of development communication, such as the uses of the word communication or communications, what is more important, communicating or engaging, what are the needs of research, media and other approaches. Or these are the readings related to the topic which you may refer in future. And thank you for your time. Please feel free to mail me on the given email ID for any queries.